The ANC Party is outraged by the recent announcement by the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority increasing the maximum wholesale and retail petroleum prices in Kenya for the period of 15th March to 14th April by nearly 15%. The increases in the fuel pump prices will ultimately lead to an increase in the cost of production and transportation for ordinary Kenyans and businesses. Kenyans in our villages and towns are in great distress. Many families do not know where the next meal will come from, and even when they get a meal, it is not enough to satisfy the household needs. Clearly, with increased prices of paraffin and other fuel, the situation is likely to get worse as prices of food soar. What the Ministry of Energy has always done is to pass the increased costs to the mwananchi and business community to their detriment, while guaranteeing higher profit margins for oil marketers. Changes in the computation of the applicable taxation regime have resulted in higher pump prices. In fact, taxes now comprise roughly 60% of the pump price for petrol, diesel, and kerosene. It is totally unacceptable for petrol to retail at 122.81 shillings in Nairobi, when the landing cost is 49 shillings 0.84 cents. Our proposal: the Ministry of Energy has failed Kenyans and must take responsibility for this unpleasant situation. They should take cognizance of the fact that it is the ordinary citizen who bears the brunt of high petroleum prices. It is painful to imagine the plight of the widowed mother in Kibera, Kamkunji, or Mathare, who currently earns less than Kenya shillings 200 for washing clothes, yet is expected to fork out 92 shillings on a litre of kerosene daily. Or the small businessman in Changamwe, Nyeri, or Kisumu, whose soap-making business is being strangled because of the high electricity costs. The ministry, as a matter of urgency, must do the following. 1. Revise the formula used in pricing fuel. 2. Review the tax regime on fuel products. A tax equivalent to 100% of pump price is unsustainable, punitive, and inflationary to the Kenyan people. The tax regime should also provide incentives for investments in clean and renewable energy. 3. Reform the electricity cost structure to include more transparency in the determination of costs and pricing, and improve overall efficiency. On an encouraging note, the government should accelerate the review of the power purchase agreements that have been heavily skewed against Kenyans. 4. The ministry must review and reform our energy policy in consultation with stakeholders across the board, so that the nation can leverage on their creativity and innovation. In conclusion, the above recommendations would enable our country to remove price distortions in the economy, enhance our competitiveness, and foster an increase in investments in the energy sector and the economy as a whole. The ministry should treat this matter with the urgency it deserves. In short, what I'm trying to emphasize here is that for as long as we have these distortions in the energy sector, we are not going to achieve the competitiveness that we ought to achieve in making us the premier economy in this region. The Ministry of Energy has been failing us. Kenyans have been subsidizing too much those who are doing business here. And the classic example is when the government itself, and this one we commend, that they have actually started reviewing the power purchase agreements, because these have been very expensive agreements which have made it very difficult for Kenyans to access energy. Even when you talk of the last mile, the rural access, we are now having a lot of people and a lot of houses that are connected, seemingly so. But in reality, the owners of those houses cannot afford the cost of power. So this is a very serious business. Can you imagine what it means to the border business person? To the production of our manufacturing sector, the industrial sector. Even those of us who know what is going on, you find a bill for a residential complex is as if it is a bill for some industrial production. And all this is guesswork, because the reality is that these people do not come to read the meters. So they are lumping ordinary citizens with estimates which are skewed to subsidize the wastage that has gone into this sector. So these are matters that need to be addressed, and the reality is that the taxation level on Kenya's fuel products is too much. There are too many levies and there are too many taxes. As much as the country needs revenue, as much as the government needs revenue, do not kill the goose that lays the golden egg.